Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to you, hopefully elect. This is your brother Yahweh Call from the Great Millstone Orlando camp. All right, and just wanted to speak on a few words concerning Passover, and just Lord wanted to make the point on the seriousness of this time that we're in, Passover season. A lot of spiritual things go on around this time. It's a heavy time. Like the scriptures say, to examine ourselves whether we be in the faith, thinking about their solemn assembly, how this is a solemn assembly, Slakia, and just the fact that, the surrealness, if that's the word, or just how surreal are the times that we're coming into, how surreal it's going to get, and, I did a video earlier today, uploaded going into a dream that I had, which pretty much I just kind of skimmed through the dream, just to really get the meat of the dream, because there was a lot more to it, but like I said, I really wanted to get just the meat of it. And I remember waking up from that dream this morning, just really, it kind of just put me back in that mode, you get when you're kind of just fired up in the spirit, you're kind of just like in that fuck it, it's whatever spirit, because like I said, being in the time that we're in, it's a very serious time. A lot of heavy things happen around this time, and I'll be first to admit, as far as just me personally, to put myself out there a little bit, just going through some situations, and I'll be honest, it was weighing on my mind a little bit, but the water y'all about Shema Shai, and because that's why I always say is we get so caught up to our own things, the things that's going on in our life and whatnot. It's easy to get caught up in those things, but the Lord, He has to oftentimes, just kind of throw us back a little bit to make us refocus, and like I said, get that fire, rekindle that fire, and just remind us in a roundabout way that this ain't it. Just remember this ain't it. Focus on the bigger picture. So it was just one of those things, it happens to us time in and time out. But nevertheless, man, because like I said, waking up from the dream that I had, it really kind of it really put me in that, because I kind of felt myself looking back and reflecting. Again, we're in the Passover season, like I said, well, what I've been dealing with for the past 3 or 4 months or so has really been weighing on my mind, and it's been a real low point. But the Wadi Yahweh Shema Shai, I feel as if I'm back on my shit, I'm back on it, and it's a matter of moving forward from here. The scripture said, "Just man falls 7 times, but he's going to get it back up, man." So the Wadi Yahweh Shema Shai, refocused, recentered, and like I said, man, waking up from this dream, it just it's just like, man, this, like I said, the surrealness, of this thing of ours, is getting ready to kick in. It's really, this shit is really about to happen, and I really got that feeling after waking up from this dream, because with everything that's going on, all the said speculation, which is kind of what I want to touch on, what I want to go in, I'm really, and just me, and I'm sure brothers can attest, really getting that feeling like something is going to take place after this Passover, man. I'm really getting that feeling that I got back in 2020, when you know, the Passover came, you know, and then, you know, the so-called crisis hit, the world crisis took place, you know, and it said a lot because a lot of other camps basically had to cancel their Passovers, or they had to postpone it or whatever. A lot of camps weren't even able to keep their Passovers, you know. So I'm getting that feeling, I'm getting those vibes again, you know. And again, just with everything that's going on, what's being said, all right, there's a lot to talk about, so I'm just going to try to sum things up as best as I can. Just give a brief summary, you know, because for one, obviously with the eclipse that's supposed to be taking place on April 8th, I do believe. It's either April 6th or April 8th. I believe it's April 8th, you know. Now, there's a lot of information. All right, well, I'll say there's a lot of, again, speculation, and there's a lot of reported inside information that's coming out about just basically preparation for an event or events, because you know, certain places, you know, certain states, like I think one was Oklahoma, you know, they're, as well as a few other places, man, they're kind of just putting it out there like, hey man, you know, be ready, stock up water. You know, they're preparing for food shortages and things of that nature, you know, kind of the same thing that took place, because this eclipse that's supposed to be taking place, you know, this is the eclipse that's supposed to X out, you know, America, Babylon, which I'm gonna say this because I was, again, just doing my research and whatnot, you know, going back into those what do you call it, the what's it called, because it immediately reminded me of it's just good to talk about, there's no new thing under the sun, you know. Bear with me, I have a shitty memory, you know, so I just gotta look this up real quick. I have a real bad memory, but there was these when you go into the Madrid earthquakes, you know, that took place between, I think it was around, I think they said, let me just look this up real quick, Slakia. I know the one day was around 1812, but I'm just look up real quick. Because with these earthquakes that took place, these Madrid earthquakes, the Madrid earthquakes of 1812, 1811, between 1811 and 1812, you know, you had these earthquakes that was out there, you know, and not so coincidentally, that's why I said looking into this, doing my research, and I reposted a video on my page, you know, I watched this guy Patrick Humphrey, which prompted me to do my research. I posted this video on my page, one of his videos on my page, you know, he touched on it, you know, because again, no new thing under the sun. There was a series of eclipses that took place back then, similar to what we see now, you know, start from 2017, you know, going into those series of eclipses, or that eclipse, you know, that would basically draw one you know, mark through Babylon, right? And then this eclipse that's supposed to be taking place on April 8th is going to be, that's going to be the another mark, which is, again, is going to X out, it's going to form an X over Babylon, you know. And again, not so coincidentally, you know, that's why I mentioned with these Madrid earthquakes, all right, because around that time, within a few years span, there was also an eclipse that took place, all right, which, you know, it was I think they said that it was the most devastating earthquake in American history, if I'm not mistaken, you know, because that caused a lot of damage, and, you know, it was bad, you know. That's where you get that Again, let me just look this up real quick. Because that shit was so bad, man. You know, it was pretty devastating. But again, just to look this up. Again, bear with me. My memory is shit. As much as I try to remember and write things down and whatnot, my memory is horrible. So bear with me. But when you look at it's called the real Foot Lake today. You know, that was just one of many lakes that was formed because of these earthquakes. You know, which was an unprecedented event at that time. Again, like I said, they said that they said that this was one of the worst earthquakes in American history. So when you look at things like the real Foot Lake, all right, that was something that was caused because of those earthquakes that was taking place at that time. You know, but again, nothing is a coincidence. All right, no new things under the sun. Because again, around those times you had an eclipse similar to what we see today. You know, talking from 2017, and from now you got this eclipse. All right, you know, which not so coincidentally again, you know, it's going to go over. It's going to take place over 7 cities named Nineveh, which back in 2017 I think it was seven cities named Salem. You know. And that's why I did the video a couple of weeks ago. Like, he's definitely communicating. The Lord is definitely communicating. All right. You know, because, you know, with that being said, certain places are preparing for something to take place. One of the things that they're prepping for, the information that was coming out, because again, the events now is a lot similar to what I just mentioned, you know, between those years, back in 1812, 1811, and you know, and even before that, you know, the eclipse that took place, and not too long after you had those earthquakes, and it's very similar to now, you know, that they're expecting, because when you look into it again, it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. They got the eclipse, because where these eclipses meet, supposedly it's supposed to take place right over the what do you call it? That damn, man, Slaka. I gotta look it up. It's right there in the, you know, around the. Let me just look this up. Bear with me. It's supposed to be because you got those fault lines, you know, which they said if a major earthquake takes place around those fault lines in that area, all right, then that whole area is going to be pretty much inhabitable. It's going to be devastating, just like going back to the Madrid earthquakes and whatnot, you know. But again, when you look into the pinpoint of where these two eclipses, the one that's supposed to take place on April 8th and the one that took place back in back in 2017, when you look at the point where they meet, that's exactly where that point is. That's exactly where the location is of the where those fault lines are. You know, so that's one thing that they're, you know, pretty much warning about. You know, if those earthquakes, which I'm gonna just say, it's not to say that, you know, on the date of April 8th, you know, when the date of the eclipse is supposed to take place, there's going to be an earthquake or whatever. But, you know, they're suspecting it sometime after, maybe even before, you know. I think they have it on the Jackson website out there. What's that? Jackson County, I think it is. Jackson County website, I think it is. I'm just trying to get my facts straight as much as possible, so bear with me. Again, this is all information you can look up for yourself and see for yourself. But just real quick, just want to look things up, man, real quick. Because again, there is no new thing under the sun, you know. No new thing under the sun. And again, it's just not a coincidence, because the point that I want to make out of all this is just the fact that we're around the Passover, or this is the Passover season. And this is when a lot of spiritual things, heavy things take place, because a few other points that I want to make. But before they do, it's Jackson County. They gave that warning out in Jackson County of, major earthquakes and things of that nature. So because that's where, again, that's where those fault lines are. So if an earthquake does take place, that's going to, because they're suspecting one. They're expecting it, quote unquote, to take place within the next 50 years, and which, Lord willing, we don't have 50 years here, So, hey, like I said, this could take place, hey, well, we just have to wait and see. We just have to wait and see. But it was definitely going to be it's definitely going to be something big, something catastrophic, So that's definitely something to look out for. Again, you can. I'm just trying to sum things up the best I can. Obviously, look things up for yourself. Because there's just a lot of information to talk about. Because again, going back to, like I said, a lot of other reports in certain places, man, they're telling their citizens that, hey, get ready. Be ready for blackouts. Be ready for internet outages and all that. And some are saying, which in my belief, my vain opinion, that could be an excuse, because they got the National Guard deployed, or they're going to have the National Guard deployed, and one of the things that they've been saying is, with all the talks of these, terrorist attacks, right, all these threats, and they've been giving out these warnings to stay away from crowded areas, large groups. Well, obviously, when these events like these eclipses come around or whatnot, it's a large gathering, it's a large gathering. Large gatherings take place, and it's being suspected that the top wicked elites, they could, use this as an excuse to do something, make moves, that could be this eclipse could be the justification of the elites making a move, There's something else I wanted to touch on. It slipped my mind. But nevertheless, again, the fact that this is happening after Passover, all right, because we know the signs in the heavens, that's all the Lord communicating. We want to know how close we are. Well, we're close. All right. How long? Which has been the question, the $1 million question for generations. Well, the answer is not long at all. All right. It's not long at all, because the Lord is communicating. Everyone's getting that feeling of anticipation. Everyone feels it. Everyone feels it. Something's getting ready to happen. Now, granted, these people, they can't put the pieces together, but now we don't know any exact dates or anything like that, but we know. All right. We just know that it's closer than sooner than soon. It's closer than we think. And again, more information. I saw some brothers brought out information about how, even going back to, which it makes sense, going back to the Passover in ancient Egypt when the Lord delivered us. There was information that's been coming out that even around that time. Now again, it's not not an exact date, but around that time, you had eclipses taking place, and eclipse take place. And it just makes sense. it just makes sense. Now, what I just wanted to mention as well, because again, being that this is a Passover, all right. Being that this is the Passover season, Passover is going to officially take place this Saturday evening, and everything is spiritual, everything is spiritual. When it comes down to the lamb, to the lamb, to the bitter herb, to the wine, to the unleavened bread, You know, everything is spiritual. You know, and basically, when you go to the customs of the Passover, all right, which if the Spirit gets on me, I'll just touch on it in another video. But when you go to the customs of the Passover, one of the customs was the sprinkling of the doorpost, or the blood. Well, matter of fact, let me real quick, because again, everything's when it comes to the Lord, he's detailed in everything that he does. So, because when you go into the scriptures, the scriptures talk about you got the sprinkling of the blood, you got the pouring of the blood. You know, there's different methods, because again, the Lord, he's very detailed. So I wanna make sure I get this right as well. I'm just gonna look this up real quick. Bear with me. I'm just gonna go to I think that's Exodus. Exodus 12. I'm just trying to see where to start to get to the point. Again, the Lord is very specific in what he does. So let's go to this real quick. And matter of fact, I'll read it. Exodus 12. Exodus 12. In verse 7, it says, "And they shall take of the blood and strike it upon the two side posts on the upper doorpost of the houses wherein they shall eat it." So that's the point that I wanted to get, because I said sprinkled. So I just wanted to make sure. So yeah, you take the blood. Well, I'm talking about in the ancient world. Back at that time, you would take the blood and smear it on the doorpost. But just the point that I wanted to make, because again, everything is spiritual now. So, like these fake, phony Christians talk about the blood of Jesus. I'm covered by the blood of Jesus. No, we're covered by the blood of Yahushua, the blood of the Lamb. Which more information came out about how, and it's something that I'm still looking into myself, how the blood of lambs is actually anti-venom, which is it's amazing. Like I said, the Lord is very detailed with everything that he does. He's very detailed. So nothing is for no reason in the scriptures. And, why the Lord said this and why he said that, apparently lamb's blood is anti-venom, so that's very spiritual. That's a whole nother lesson in itself. And I'm sure brothers have done lessons on it already. But yeah, it's spiritual. We're, Lord willing, we're covered by the blood of Yahushua, the blood of the Lamb, which is our mind, which protects us from, the filth, the poison of this world, so on and so forth. So Lord willing, we'll be protected by the spiritual blood, because to make the point, I'm gonna go ahead and get this. Just like back in ancient Egypt, all right, how the destroyer came through, right? Well, let me get this in Amos. It's like I'm in the wrong chapter. Amos. Because again, it's spiritual, because even back in ancient Egypt, when Yahushua came through, everyone that didn't have that blood on their doorposts, hey, the destroyer came through. And the children of Israel, they heard the wailing, the weeping, right? Even from the cattle. It wasn't just the firstborn of man, but even with the cattle, So you could just imagine that that wailing. You could just imagine what that was like, hearing all those voices crying out in the bitterness of their soul, right? But Amos 5:16, it says, therefore the Lord, the power of hosts, the Lord saith thus, wailing shall be in all streets, and they shall say in all highways, alas, alas. And they shall call the husbandmen to mourning, and such as are skillful of lamentation to wailing. And it's like, these people, it's like they're skillful they're skillful to being in that festival spirit. They're skillful to mirth, despite everything that's going on. And these people, man, they still, especially Jake, all they want to do is party and bullshit. It's like they're skillful to that. Well, the time is coming when these people, they're going to be skillful to lamentation. Second Edges 9, they're going to be dwelling in torments, So, verse 17, it says, and in all vineyards shall be wailing, for I will pass through thee, saith the Lord. So that's the point. All right. Just like in ancient Egypt, hey, the Lord passed through. Yahushua, he passed through. That spirit of death, man. Hey, the Lord came through. It's going to be the same thing today, man. It's going to be the same thing. And everyone that's not spiritually covered, everyone that doesn't spiritually have that blood smothered on their doorpost, man, hey, they're going to fall victim to all these judgments. They're going to fall victim out here, man, to the plagues, the four-sword judgments. They're just going to be, I can't even say a victim. They're just going to be a casualty of war. The Lord's going to have it out for them, because like I mentioned, having a spiritual, very spiritual 2-hour conversation with my demon last Friday, and I feel that, that's pretty much, it was like her last warning. It was her last warning, when it comes to certain situations and certain things. I feel like that was her last warning, and again, being that we're in Passover, right? And just like I was just mentioning, with all the information that's been coming out, the information that I touched on, the possible scenarios people are preparing for. Basically, matter of fact, I got this. Well, I'm not going to read it, but oh damn, I think I already, because I keep getting these articles that pop up on my news app, and one of the latest was something dealing with the power grid with Texas. And it mentioned something about April 8th, with the eclipse. And you just got to ask yourself, what are they preparing? What are they prepping? They know something's coming, You got to have to ask yourself, because they always put certain information out there, and you got to ask, how do they know? How do they know? Because they got something in the works. They're planning something, How are they able to give, exact dates and exact number? I'll say estimations. We estimate that such and such people are going to die from such and such, because right now they're talking about the bubonic plague, the measles outbreaks, and certain things, and this and that, right? Which that's another thing I forgot to mention, because there's been in talks of some type of biological warfare. I'll just say that. I don't want to put too much out there. Like I said, do your research, because they were saying how there was some inside information coming out about, hey, they're planning something. Long story short, all in all, they're planning something. They're planning something. They're getting ready for something. They're getting ready to do something. They're getting ready to do something. And one of the possible scenarios being a biological warfare, putting some type of, thing out there that's going to justify martial law, medical martial law. All right, quarantine camps, like I mentioned. They're going to have, we've seen this already in New York, they got the National Guard deployed, right? They got the National Guard is going to be deployed come this eclipse. You're going to have certain government buildings shut down, schools shut down. It's like, why? What are they prepping for? What are they planning for? They were talking about be prepared for You know, the internet to go out, lights to go out. It's like, what are they planning? They know something. And like that's what I was saying before. Like, this could be the justification for Esau. This eclipse could be a justification on Esau doing something. You know, making a move, planning something. You know. But yeah, I had an article say that, but I had already exited it out. But it was something dealing with power grid. You know, the power grid, this and that. You know, April 8th. Of course, again, we just have to wait and see. But nevertheless, it's better. And this is a quote. I've been quoting a lot of these Marcus Aurelius quotes. You know, Seneca quotes. You know, you know, these guys back during the you know, Roman Empire. You know, which I think they were jake, because a lot of these quotes, man, a lot of these stoicism quotes, man, they, you know, a lot of it goes back to the scriptures. You know, and one of the quotes in not so many words that this guy Marcus Aurelius, which I believe he was a jake, he mentioned one of his quotes was if you know to know, oh man, it's in line with Sirach, the 5th chapter, where it mentions, and I quote it all the time, be not ignorant in any matter, small or great. You know, because it's better to know about something, no matter how small it may appear to be, rather than to not know about it at all. You know, in not so many words. He has a quote. You know, it's better to know, you know, something of what may appear to be insignificant, rather than to not know about it at all. So these are just things, just to, you know, there's nothing wrong to know about, to have, you know, just the knowledge in the back of your mind, like, hey, you know, this, because, hey, the scripture say, man, that day's going to catch a lot of people as a thief in the night. You know, when Yahweh Shema Shai drops the hammer, it's going to catch these people like a thief in the night. And going back to the dream that I had, man, hey, that's I remember it, you know, and I'm not one to have dreams. I don't have dreams, you know, or visions, you know, I'm not one to get those. But I remember this. I remember a lot of details very, very, very vividly. And that was one thing that I remember from this dream that I had this morning. Like, hey, it was business as usual. It was business as usual. And all of a sudden, it just all hell broke loose. I still don't remember what it was. But I remember, you know, just 1 minute, you know, everyone's laughing. We was sitting in a restaurant, just having, you know, it was me and the family, just having a brunch or whatever, you know. People coming in, coming out. Hey, how you been? This and that. It's business as usual. People talking to one another. Everyone was happy and shit. And then the next minute, hey, it was just panic, fear, you know. it was just panic. It was just total chaos. People running, and, you know, it was hectic. So that's how quick and swift it's going to be. It's going to be all of a sudden, man, just like that. The drop of a dime, the flip of a switch. It's just going to be out of nowhere. You know, I'm going to go back to Amos 5:16. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, or verse 18, rather. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? And you know, it's cold because I think it was a brother out there in GMS Kansas City, the brother Mahal Lawyer. He did a video, I think it was last week. I think it was this chick, man. I don't know if she was an Edomite or she was a Jake, but basically she was crying out. She was complaining, and so much that her best bet was, which is really, her hope was going to be in vain, because people like that, their hope in Jesus coming back, you know, because that was her hope, you know. Her hope was that Jesus comes back, man. And just basically she was talking about how just, you know, the fact that people are catching so much hell, man. Hey, she just wants Jesus to return. And that's how bad it is. It's gotten to that point where people are looking forward to the end of the world, so-called. You know, people are looking forward to Yahweh Shai coming back, because it's like, what else is there to do? It's like, what else is there? What else is there? You know? You know, man, that's how bad it is for the, you know, for people. But like I just said, for what is it to you, for you? It says the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. So you see, man, that's the point, man. You know, Because everyone is looking for an option now. Everyone's looking for an escape now from judgment. It's like, no, if you weren't trying to, you know, give a sincere effort now, then you ain't gonna make it, man. And that's what them, quite frankly, them concentration camps. Because listen, I'm gonna say this, man. You know, when it comes to hopefully elect brothers, I don't believe. Because listen, we catch our hell now. We go through our punishment, our chastising now. You know, the Lord's fucking us up now. Because pursuing Sirach 40, verse 8, 9, 10, you know, around those verses, man, it talks about how the calamities, that's for these people, that's for the wicked. It ain't for us, Lord willing. We're catching our hell now. So a part of those calamities, man, hey, people are going to be getting taken to them concentration camps because, again, going back to some of the information that's been coming out, hey, it's being said, again, it's just said speculation and rumor. Now, we know eventually it's going to happen, but, you know, and again, it's not to say that this is going to take place exactly on the day of this eclipse, but people are suspecting that soon after, you know, they've been putting all these laws into place over the years, and even as of recently, man, they've been putting everything's being put into place. You know, everything's being put into place. All these exercises that are being conducted by the military, by FEMA. They're supposed to be doing another alert test, I think next week in some places. You know, so everything's being put into place, man. You know, and it's just not a coincidence that, you know, the Passover, you know, this is the time of the Passover. Things happen around this time. You know, but there's so much more to speak on, you know, but, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and close it out there. Again, just keep in the back of your mind, man. You know, keep us important on the forefront, because brothers can't stress it enough how, hey, this shit is temporal. You know, this shit is temporal. It's temperate. And real soon, like I said, I'm sure I can speak for all of us. Hey, I've been catching hell. You know, I've been going through it. But more and more and more, man, it's getting easier to say, fuck that. You know, it's getting easier and easier to say, fuck that, man. We're almost out of here. Like I said, I woke up from that dream this morning, and I was excited, like, man, you know, it put me in that lion mode. I was fired up. It's like, man, the Lord's about to do this shit, man. You know, so we've got nothing to worry about. Just keep the, you know, Yahweh Shema Shah in the forefront. Speaking to myself. All right, and we're gonna be all right. But Lord willing, this was edifying. All praises to Yahweh Shema Shai. Shalom to you, hopefully elect.